first question.
And Barbara, I'm going to direct this to you, so I didn't want to catch you off guard after I asked the question. Can you talk a little bit about the Prudential's practices to engage and bring in NAMWOLF law firms?
Okay. I'm just going to sort of condense this into a couple of points. I think when you have, can you hear? I think when you have large or small companies, we first got involved with NAMWOLF in 2005, and it was 2 or 3 NAMWOLF reps in a coffee shop with 2 or 3 folks from Prudential. So the story that I'm bringing to the table today shows a progression over a number of years. And so at the beginning, it was not an easy process. I came to a meeting just like you and those of you who are new and said, I don't know how to do this and what to do. So I'm going to present to you kind of the end stage of where we are now, but it was a struggle all the way along, and I'd be happy to talk in more detail about our journey along the way. One of the things I wanted to mention is not about Pru, but something that NAMWOLF offers that we've taken advantage of. Some people call it the feedback process, some people call it the solicitation process. It's the ability to go out and use the NAMWOLF, Joel and his administrative team, to do a targeted, to the firms, to do a targeted request. You can do it on an anonymous basis or by naming your company. Prudential used that route for a search for an immigration lawyer on a specific matter. We've also used it for media and advertising. And we're also in and upcoming going to be using it for an antitrust matter. You go out to the firms, you can pose a question in as much or as little detail as you want. You can work with Joel's team to decide how quickly you need a response. You can also tailor what you want to get in that response. In particular with immigration, I had a specific question. I wanted the name of the lawyer and the firm who could handle it. I wanted some general information about the practice area, and I didn't want anything else. So the nice part of this is you send the request through, they send it out really within a day or sometimes hours. They collect the feedback. They do an initial screening. The stuff that falls outside what you want, you never have to see. And you get back a handful of firms, sometimes more, that actually respond to your question. Or in one case, we don't have that expertise for something else I asked. So it's a great tool to use. I would recommend that those of you who are not sure sort of how to approach NAMWOLF, it could be a need on a specific piece of litigation. It could be a much generalized area, like I need someone. What we did is in immigration. The good story for Pru is we put out 4 requests this year. 3 result in hirings, and in one case, the law firm that handled the particular matter is now going to be our primary counsel, replacing a large law firm. So at the end of the day, the process works. If you're uncomfortable putting your company's name out there, you can do it on an anonymous basis. And every single time, and even getting the answer that we don't have this expertise is helpful, because you've come and you've tried to use these firms, and you'll be able to figure out if the expertise is among the audience that you have. So again, I recommend the process. In other years, we've had tremendous success as well, and in every single time I use it, I'm able to bring back targeted firms, answers crafted the way I want to. And the firms that respond, if they're not going to craft the answer the way we want, we don't read the response. It's almost like a mini RFP without going through all the headache. So that's my PR on NAMWOLF. I wanted to talk kind of about, I think you have to have a culture that accepts diversity and one that accepts this process. Early on, Prudential dedicated 2 resources, 2 lawyers to come to these meetings, litigation and transactional. The split was on purpose because we'd come at it from 2 different sides and be able to dialogue with the firms here in a meaningful way. Where we are, if you fast forward 7 years, is in the transactional practice area. We used to engage small firms. We'd engage 2 or 3 a year. And the goal this year was, what else can we do, right? Prudential's here every year. We give money. We spend time. How can I move the needle? First time we did this was in 2013 with success, and now we're doing it. We're taking a transactional NAMWOLF firm. And I have a particular, we have in Prudential what we call innovation labs that develop products and services. And it's all transactional work. Normally a large firm would get assigned to that bucket of work and dole it out to its associates. What we've done this year is we've taken the Patrick Law Group. They're our lead firm. They get all the assignments in this practice area and they give them out. When they have exhausted their pool of people, they will go into NAMWOLF firms and give out more work, or into other contract attorneys that they bring on board. In one transaction, I have an FCRA question. The in-house people at Pru don't have time to answer it. Liz's firm can't answer it. She's going to hire me a big firm law expert to get the answer. And then I'll pass through the billing. So essentially, I have a mini general counsel over a fairly important practice area. I don't have to deal with the headache of figuring out how to get the questions answered. I give her the questions. She finds the firm that could answer it. Most of the time, the questions are isolated, 1 hour, 2 hours of time. I don't have to call 5 large law firms to get the answer. I'm going to have her working on an advertising matter. There are going to be data aggregation issues. I'm sure that she's going to go into the IP well here and get some firms for us, but she might go to Sullivan and Cromwell, she might go to Mayer Brown. I don't really care where she goes, as long as she gets me the answer. So it's a different way to look at it. What I'm hoping is if I can launch this successfully, and we're about 3 weeks in, it's going really well, my boss and my company is going to see that these firms can do just the same thing as the large law firms, especially when they can bring in experts from other firms, build them through. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. If I've got a large law firm that has 20 satellite offices, I don't really know all those lawyers. I'm just going to make a phone call, and I'm going to call upon an expert that I may not even know in my same firm. This is really the same model. We did it in 2013 in the transfer agent area. The firm who's no longer here, but we used them as our primary counsel on a $100 million transfer agent relationship between 3 affiliated companies. They were the lead counsel, and they brought in other firms to answer securities questions, investment advisor questions. Luckily, NAMWOLF now has a bench in this area, but they didn't at the time. So the concept is, how can I move the needle to put the NAMWOLF firm in front rather than behind? So far, it's working out well. I hope to come to the next meeting and be able to report to you that we're doing it with 2 or 3 client groups and the success we've had. And the model would be that we would select different firms each time to lead the practice area. Of course, the firm I selected, I had done business with before. You know, I want to make sure I understand who they are and how they work. So in this case, I've worked with Liz for about 2 years. I have another firm I'm thinking of now. We've been working with them for about 18 months, and I would propose that they would be the lead in the next opportunity that I have in the same model. That's kind of the end stage of doing it, but along the journey, there's a lot of challenges, and a lot of my colleagues here are going to be talking to you about that. But I'm just going to give another PR for Joel and his team. I highly recommend using that process. NAMWOLF offers a lot of different ways you can get feedback on firms. Use the resources and the people that are here, and that will help you in your journey as you try to bring to your company either defined expertise or the concepts of what this organization has to offer.